5th, she won't let Mom see the kids.
She cut me out of my grandchildren's lives via text message.
She accuses her dad of the unthinkable.
It honestly crushed me.
Did she grow up?
What is it she's not admitting to?
Punching me in the face, choking me.
I didn't.
In a house of lies?
My mom dragged Amber down the hallway.
I do not recall that.
This isn't something that lapses from memory. You either did that or you didn't. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
In 5, 4.
I am not giving up on you.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Stay away from me and my children. Contact me again, you hateful, judgmental bitch, and I will press harassment charges. You probably think a text this harsh was sent to a nasty neighbor or bullying frenemy. Nope. The woman on the receiving end of this mean message was dear old Mom. And it was sent to her by none other than, of course, her daughter. What could make a daughter send a text like this to the woman who gave birth to her? Mothers and daughters, listen up, please, because this is a story about every mother-daughter relationship that ever was. And let me tell you, you want to forget what you think you know. If you're a mother or you're a daughter, you need to listen fast, because I'm going to shake it up to break it up. I am talking about changing your patterns. You got a tough relationship? You're in the right place on the right channel. Listen with both ears. Amber is still mad at her mother for years of what she calls verbal, emotional, and physical attacks. Mom Julie, on the other hand, says she's never laid a hand on her daughter except in self-defense. Let's hear Amber's side of today's saga.
Growing up, my mom was extremely physically abusive. When I was 7 years old, she picked up her remote, threw it at me. To this day, I can still feel the bump in my ear.
One time, and they hadn't done their chores. I got really upset, and I did start throwing dishes. After that one incident, I was never physical with my children.
When I was 14, I skipped class, and when I got home that day, she started an argument with me, and I ran and locked myself in the bathroom.
So I was knocking on the bathroom door, she was yelling back at me, "Go away, you bitch."
And she was kicking in, trying to get at me.
Pretty soon I'm laying on the floor like this, trying to get her to open.
And she lost her balance and fell through the wall. When my dad got home, my mom told him that I had been attacking her. And so my dad grabbed me by my throat and said, "You ever touch her again, you'll have me to deal with." And she just said, "See, he's protecting me." As I got older, I started fighting my mom back. I've slapped my mom, hit her, punched her.
One time, she came home past curfew. She came in, I asked for the car keys, and I said, "You're grounded from the car." "Not grounded from the car, you can't ground me, you bitch."
So I take the keys from her and go to push her out of the way. She takes that as a sign of bring it, and she grabs me in a chokehold, and she grabs the keys from me. She goes, "Now who's got the keys, bitch?"
I did not put my mom in a chokehold. I shoved her off of me in self-defense.
When the police came, both of them noted that I was the one with the red marks, and so she's the one that got reprimanded.
Our relationship is extremely toxic, and at this point, I don't want her in my life.
Well, Amber says all her life her mother has made her feel not good enough. Her mother, Julie, says her daughter is dramatic, and, well, she just says she's an exaggerating liar.
Growing up, my mom was mean to me. She always made me feel like I wasn't good enough. My mom constantly nitpicked every detail of my life. My friends, who and when I hung out, my parents.
Amber probably does see me as mean and overcritical. I had to be hyper-vigilant so that she didn't spin out of control.
My mom's called me horrible things. She's called me a bitch, a slut. She's constantly judging how I raise my kids, how I am as a wife.
Amberly has said, "You're a judgmental bitch. You're a pill-popping, boozing woman." Amber is always the victim, and she always makes me out to be the bitch.
I don't recall my mom ever complimenting me for any of my achievements.
She is one of those people that wants a pedestal and a standing ovation for every time she does anything.
My mom always showed my sisters more affection, more support than she ever showed me.
Amberly's sisters were treated differently because they're different people. Of course, she's going to feel like they got more praise. They didn't do as many negative behaviors.
It's been 15 years of crap, and I'm fed up.
At this point, I don't even care if I'm thrown under the bus. I just want to quit this stupid cycle of madness.
Okay, now, you said she's very manipulative and that she'll come out here and she'll put on a good show and all of that, but is very different with you.
When it's me and her one-on-one, it's either all or nothing with her. It's either you completely agree with me or you're from hell.
You say you resent the fact that she's failed to protect you when you were growing up. You said that she has called you a slut and a bitch and a gypsy bitch. Does she call you these names? Did I get that right?
Her running nickname for me to this day is Gypsy Bitch.
Why?
Started from her getting drunk one night, and we had to call EMTs on her, and that's just what she kept referring to me as, was, this is my gypsy bitch.
Do you call her these names?
I did that night. I did have a bad night about a year ago. You do too, as a behind the scenes kind of laughing it off because it was a bad night. You yourself laugh about it and kind of joke about how funny it was.
How else am I supposed to react about it with you?
Well, then you can't complain that it's a bad thing when you're joking about it.
I can't confront you about it either.
Was it just that one night?
Yes.
No, well, that one night is when she started it, but now it's kind of turned into...
But now it's become kind of a nickname, and she kind of uses it as a badge of honor. Yeah, I'm the gypsy
Kind of a
bitch.
nickname.
She's the only one that calls me that.
No, that's not true. In the family, she's like,
She says
yeah,
when she
I'm
was
just
in
a-"
school that you showed up one day and dragged her out of class amid allegations of her having sex and called her a slut all the way down the hallway for everyone to hear.
I do not recall that happening.
Okay, no. This isn't something that lapses from memory. If you grab your child by the arm and drag them down the middle of the school hallway,
You would
yelling
remember.
slut at the top of your lungs for everyone to hear, that's not something that lapses from your memory.
Okay,
So
then
you
I
either
have
did
to
that or you
say-
didn't.
Then I did not do that.
Okay, I'm not saying you did. I'm not saying you did.
It's not in my nature to do that. By nature, I am not a fighter and I am not confrontational. It
Did
is
she do
not
that?
my
She
nature
did.
to do it.
Okay. Are you telling the truth or are you lying?
No.
Because we know you've told lies during that phase of your life. You have told some major hurtful lies about people during that time of your life.
Right.
That were egregious, ugly, hurtful lies. Is that one of them?
No, that is
Why
not
should we
one of them.
believe that, given some of the things you've told that were way worse than that?
Because I owned up to the way worse lies. Why would I own up to the way worse one and not own up to something like this?
If you punched her in the face?
No. No, the first time I heard she said that, no. I haven't punched anybody ever in my entire life. Ever.
Were you drunk and punched her in the face?
No.
Do you get drunk very often?
No, it was one night, and instead of becoming volatile, apparently I became goofy and took on an English accent and started calling her the gypsy bitch. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't become volatile.
She doesn't get drunk very often, but she does heavily self-medicate
But you say she takes pills,
constantly.
and
ever
that
since
changes
I
her
can remember.
personality?
It changes her personality, that she'll say mean things, and I feel like it's an excuse that she'll take pills and then say mean, hurtful things and then come back the next day, oh, I don't remember.
Let's take a quick break. Amber says there was something her mother didn't do during her childhood that she can never forgive. Not something she did, something she didn't do. What is that? We're going to talk about it when we come back.
When I was 9 years old, my parents had a child staying with them, and she had started raping and molesting me. When I'd try and ask my mom about it, she would just say, you need to suck it up and grow up.
She appeared to be just fine, so we didn't think anything was wrong.
Tomorrow on Dr. Phil.
My daughter is out of control.
You're dumb, crazy.
Well, let's meet this little dumpling.
She's a teen tyrant.
Are you violent?
I used to be.
You just quit today?
It's her parents' home,
You emptied the den and moved all of your stuff in there.
but she's running the house.
She's stealing your car. You snuck boys into the house 20 times.
I do it because I don't have a mom to stop me.
That's tomorrow.
If you live here, you get it. It's more than just a point on a map. It's about finding your place, off the beaten path, to raise a glass, and to express, well, you. It's where the heart and the mind collide. The kind of place you feel in your bones.
Recently, Amberly has completely cut me out of my grandchildren's lives. It was actually via text message, and it said, "Stay away from me and my children. Contact me again, you hateful, judgmental bitch, and I will press harassment charges." I have no idea why this happened.
I told her to stay away from my children because she would disagree with the rules I had set in place for my kids.
I was completely blindsided by this. There was never any rules, never any guidelines. It is completely unfair. Amber's behavior right now feels to me like emotional extortion.
Amber says that there's a grudge she's been holding against her mom since she was 9 years old. She says something unspeakable happened to her, and her mother just did nothing to protect her. Julie says she handled the situation the best way she knew how, but her daughter just won't let it go.
When I was 9 years old, my parents had a child staying with them, and she had started raping and molesting me. When my mom found out about the abuse, she kind of brushed it off and then looked at me with a disgusted look on her face.
The second we found out, we were on the phone, and that girl was removed from our home that second.
Later on, when I'd try and ask her about it, she would just say, "You need to suck it up and grow up."
She appeared to be just fine. Her grades didn't change. Her behaviors didn't change. Nothing changed. So we didn't think anything was wrong. So we did not send her to counseling.
I felt really abandoned and really alone.
We felt like if she didn't bring it up, then we didn't want to keep making her relive it.
She should have been protecting me. I am bitter towards my mom because she acted like I was insignificant.
Very sorry that happened to you. Obviously, I hate that. I hate that for you, and obviously it has an impact and still has an effect on you. And you say that your mother failed to protect you and brushed it off.
I don't remember any reaction from my mom other than just looking at me like, she just kept looking at me and just shaking her head like she was disgusted with me.
And what did she fail to do that you needed from her at that time? What did you want her to do?
A conversation would have been nicer. I don't remember any conversation about it, even asking anything about it. It was just, that was the end of it. We don't bring it up, grow up. It happens to everybody. Everybody's got something. Leave it alone.
And who said those words to you?
Her and my dad have both told me that.
Mm-hmm. And they told you that when? At the time or
They
since?
still tell me that to this day. Let it go. Everybody's got something. Let it go. Grow up. I'm very sorry that we didn't handle it the way that we should have.
Is your mother alive today?
No.
Mm-hmm. And you do have horrific memories.
Yes, sir.
You actually talked about that to us some. Let's take a look at this.
When I was growing up, my adopted mother was very abusive towards me. She would randomly beat me for things such as not eating fast enough. A beating just because she knew that I was going to do something wrong that day. I remember her wrapping the telephone cord around my neck and pulling it till I passed out. When I was 15, oh God, my adopted mother grabbed a butcher knife and backed me up to the kitchen wall and held it to my chest, told me she hated me and she was going to kill me. By the grace of God, something was burning on the stove. And so she said, Go to your room. As soon as I take care of this, I'll be in to finish what I've started. On my way to my room, I walked out the front door, and I refused to go home after that. My childhood was pretty traumatic, and so because of that, I tried to make a conscious effort to be a different kind of mother to my children. I always wanted my children to feel safe and to not be afraid of me. So I kind of created a version of a mom that I always wished I'd have had, and that's what I tried to be.
I'm sorry that that happened to you. So you ran away at 15,
Yes.
and you ran away at 15, and you were abused by your mother, and you were abused by your mother, and here we are.
I have ownership in this, and I'm completely willing to take it.
You're not, though, because you're not admitting to what you did when I was a teenager.
What is it she's not admitting to?
Punching me in the face, throwing me out of the house, slapping me, choking me. You're not admitting to it.
I didn't.
You did.
I didn't.
Yes.
Well, let's take a break, and I'm going to try to unravel a little of this. Amber's father says she made a shocking accusation against him that could have ruined his life. But Amber says she recanted the whole story, so her dad, well, she thinks he needs to get over it. We'll talk about that when we come back.
I told the sheriffs that my dad was sexually assaulting me and that he was hitting me with a pistol.
They started asking me about my husband sitting on the edge of the tub naked. And I said, what in the hell are you talking about?
Wendy's caught us back.
A dill tartar sauce?
Finish, Mom.
There is a fish.
When I was a teenager, I ran away from home a lot. One time, my mom had called my friends trying to find me and threatened them with charges if they didn't turn me in. I did not want to go home, so I made up accusations against my dad. I told the sheriffs that my dad was sexually assaulting me and that he was hitting me with a pistol.
Mike and I went down to the police station. They started asking me about my husband, pistol whipping her, sitting on the edge of the tub naked, fondling her. And I said, what in the hell are you talking about?
I knew if I said something, they'd start an investigation.
They kept trying to get me to admit that my husband was capable of this. And I kept saying, there is no way.
It got really crazy. When I realized what I'd done, I called the police and told them that I'd made it all up.
She got all she needed from watching an episode of Law & Order SVU. Amber caused an unbelievable amount of damage. I don't believe that my husband will ever fully trust her.
Yeah, Mike, this had to be a incredibly difficult time for you. You were questioned about this?
Yes, I was.
What went through your head when they started asking you these questions?
I think the first thing that came to, that hit me is like, what's going on? I mean, trying to wrap your head around what's being told to you, the questions being asked of you, and going, where in the hell is all this coming from? It crushed me. It honestly crushed me.
How do you feel about it?
I hate that I did that to my dad. I don't know how else to explain it. It was just something horrible. And there's no amount of times I could say sorry enough.
And why did you do it? Why did this make sense at the time?
Because I knew that it would start an investigation into the household, and I thought that maybe if the investigators were diligent enough, they'd find out about the abuse between me and my mom, and I wouldn't have to go home.
There's an interesting text exchange between you and your dad about the grandchildren, and this happened, just recently. And Amber, you say, feel free to disown me as your daughter. I'm so sick and blank tired of being made out to be your joke. and the bad guy in every situation. I'm well aware I'm not perfect, but I'm not the Antichrist either. Go blank yourselves. So Mike writes back, if you want me to go blank myself, I guess I'll start blanking, kid. Regardless what you think, love you and always will. Amber, guess who punched their daughter in the face, called her slut, bitch, worthless, threw her kids across kitchens, threw hands at them, kicked them out of the house because she couldn't stand them anymore and denies it ever happened. And you were always the one to hold the door open. Why every single time I needed you growing up, you walked away and went to work. My issues are not just piddly, petty, bleep, and both of you seem to think they are. I need answers, but I'm not going to get them if you guys can't even acknowledge what happened. There's no bleeping point. Which Mike responds, I'm sorry the pain you felt and the pain you continue to feel, but as an adult, you have the choice now to fix it or let it haunt you and your beautiful family forever. She's obviously calling you everything but decent yet again, and you're still saying, look, let's calm down. I love you. Let's keep this together. I love you. Wow. That man is still talking to you, that man is still taking time every day to tell you that he loves you and hasn't turned his back on you. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Amber's younger sister, Natalie. We're going to find out if she sees things the same way Amber does. And then I'm going to start telling you what I think needs to happen here. Closed captioning provided by...
At Kohl's, we say yes to dressing your best. Find chaps for dad and the little ones too. Bright spring dresses. Dress your kids from head to toe. Plus, new at Kohl's, build your own Easter basket starting Wednesday. Find your yes. Kohl's.
Arm & Hammer combines strength and beauty for true radiance. So for my radiant smile, I use new Truly Radiant Rejuvenating Toothpaste. In just 5 days, it cleans, whitens, repairs, and strengthens enamel with a twist of mint. Be radiant with new Truly Radiant.
Get the weather on demand and in the palm of your hand. The WHI Weather app. Tracking.
When I look back, all I can remember is dealing with Amberly and my other 2 children standing on the sidelines. Amberly's behavior has caused so much stress that my daughter, Natalie, never did anything wrong. And we actually said to Natalie, how come you never did anything wrong? And she said, because you didn't have time. Sorry. You had your hands full with Amberly, so I just did what I was supposed to do. And she did. All of the madness and chaos centered around Amberly, never around the other 2. Ever. Never.
We're talking to Amber, her mother Julie, and Father Mike. And I'm going to add younger sister Natalie to the conversation. She's joining us via Polycom right now.
Hi.
Natalie, thanks for joining us. You've been listening to everything so far. What can you add to this conversation?
That they're both kind of not really telling the truth. I mean, some of the stuff they've said is true, but not to the extent I remember.
So tell me what you recall. Give me your point of view here.
I remember the time that my mom drug Amber down the hallway. It wasn't quite telling her she was a slut, but she did drug down the hallway.
You're talking about at school?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I remember Amber punching my mom.
You remember your mother throwing pots and pans when the dishes weren't done and that sort of thing. You do recall that, correct?
Yes, I do.
And how did you feel when that would happen?
I remember feeling scared. That I wish my dad was home.
You said if Amber wasn't your sister, you would avoid her at all costs. Why?
Because she's a lot of drama.
But you would like for your family to calm down. You would like for this to be a positive unit. You would like for this to be have some calmness to it, right?
Very much so.
What would that mean to you? What would that mean to you?
It'd mean the world to me.
I'm working on this. I promise. I'm working on this. All right, we're going to take a break. Amber's husband, David, is here. He says his wife is a great mom. He says his mother-in-law, Julie, does get out of line. I expect him to support his wife. I do. But I hope he's going to be a part of the solution here as well. We'll be talking to him when we come back.
Amber's relationship with my mother-in-law could be a lot better than what it is. Recently, we were at a wedding, and my wife didn't want to be there because her mom was going to be there. I could feel the tension between the two of them, and I can tell there is hurt. That's pretty sad to me. I love my parents. I couldn't imagine not having my parents in my life. I would love to see Amberly have a relationship with her mom, as long as it's a better relationship and not so toxic.
Closed captioning provided by people.
I would like a relationship with my mom, but for that I feel like she needs to acknowledge that she did hurt me.
I wish that Amberly could step up and have some ownership. She just doesn't seem to ever want to own up to anything. We're all wrong sometimes. I don't know why she can't just step up and say, I screwed up.
At this point, I am through with her, unless I see some drastic change, but I don't think she's capable of doing that.
What do you think about all of this?
I think it's pretty crazy. I'd love to see him be able to communicate and have a better relationship.
Look, here's the thing. Were you a perfect mother?
Oh, gosh, no.
Were you a perfect daughter?
No, not even close.
Isn't there a nice symmetry there? You weren't a perfect daughter, but yet you criticize her for not being a perfect mother. You weren't a perfect mother, but yet you take her inventory for being not a perfect daughter.
Yes.
You're a right fighter. You know, you're a little...
I know.
You're a little stiff.
I'm aware.
I kind of want to mess up your hair. And it just seems to me that there's a lot of room for forgiveness and hitting the reset button here. I'm not saying that there aren't things that perhaps are worthy of working through. And I'm particularly focused on the fact that you were violated at 9 years old. I'm very sensitive to the fact that that creates a very unique set of challenges that requires some very specialized care. I want to arrange some help for you to work with this very specialized care. If I do that, would you do that? To just work with you very specifically? And pursuant to that, if I arranged couples type counseling for you two to find some way to get some common ground of forgiveness, would you two participate?
Absolutely.
In that, where I kind of had a mediator?
Sure, absolutely.
For that?
That's what we came for.
Would you be willing to do that? Okay. All right, so we will do that. Fair enough?
Thank you.
Okay,
Dr.
fair enough. So 2 things for you and then 1 for the 2 of you. All right. All right, next. I've been hearing a lot about 2 of my guests since they left this stage earlier this season. Apparently, they've been making a lot of noise There's no way you could forget them. I know I haven't. We'll talk about them after the break.
Our friendship isn't based on food. It's just something we share, and the weight loss struggle is something we both share too.
Do you work out?
You know.
Do you work out?
Sporadically. The answer is no. Ball dropped.
Across America.
Do you think you're having a midlife crisis? Did you act recklessly trying to recapture your youth by having an affair or walking out on your family? Do you now regret what you did and you're needing help trying to repair and put it all back together? If that's true, log on to drphil.com and share your story. You know, when we first met Candy and Lindsay, they were two fun-loving teachers who worked together and ate together. Well, they've been on my 2020 diet plan for the past 2 months, and apparently they've become just as dedicated to losing weight and getting healthy as they used to be to margaritas and chips. Here's a montage of video diary moments these women have been recording since they got started. Take a look.
After the first round of the diet, I lost 25 pounds. Working out has gotten so much easier, and now I can hold a plank for a solid 2 minutes.
Phase one is really, I think it's supposed to be the hardest phase, but that's actually probably my favorite phase. It's raining and might snow here, but where are we? At the gym. And we had a huge milestone this week.
Big, yeah.
We both ran on the treadmill at the gym for 30 minutes straight without throwing up.
And it was
without
not
stopping.
a beer run.
We're about to enter supermodel territory. I actually lost 6 pounds this week.
I lost in 1 week 230 pounds of boyfriend.
Thank you, Dr. Phil.
Yeah, Dr. Phil, it's going great.
Bye.
All right, Candy and Lindsay are joining us via satellite. Hey, girls.
Hey, Dr. Phil.
So how are you?
We're great.
Great.
Yeah, well, you look better. I'm seeing less of you than I did last time.
All right.
All
I
right.
miss these chins
I
a
bet
little bit.
everybody's happy about that.
Yeah. All right, so, Candy, how much weight have you lost so far?
I have lost 27, 20, how many have I lost? 27. I just had a mind fart. I'm sorry. 27 pounds. Dr. Phil made me nervous.
All right. And, Lindsay, how about you?
Well, I've lost 48 as
48
of today.
pounds. Wow. So you guys are doing great. So what's been working for you the best?
Everything. The book just, it's like you said when we were there, you laid it out so clearly. Now, it's difficult. I mean, you have to be willing to do the work, but you've laid it out so clearly for us. We just got in there, we committed. Like you said, we committed more to a healthy lifestyle than to going out and eating and drinking so much. Right. Now we meet up at the gym instead of at restaurants. So
And it's exciting. The gym is finally as exciting as we wanted it to be.
Yeah, we have fun. We bring the party to the gym.
Yeah, we do. We drive our poor trainer nuts.
Yeah. And you're staying with the different phases, right? And you said you go back to phase one if you have to punch yourself up, right?
Phase one really is a boost.
Yeah.
It's an emotional boost. It's a physical boost.
It's a physical cleanse.
Yeah.
I mean, like when we first started phase one, I called Lindsay. I'm like, I don't mean to be gross, but are you pooping a lot? She said, like it's my damn job.
I sent her a picture.
Why me? One of their video diaries caught my attention. Now I've heard that an impersonation is the sincerest form of flattery. Well, if that's true, then I guess I'm flattered. Take a look.
We love you. Anytime we felt like quitting, we just imagined Dr. Phil looking at us like, what would he? Andy and Lindsay, I am watching you. I will hunt you down till the ends of the earth.
Andy, Lindsay, I play tennis every damn day. I am spelt as a celery stalk. Get off your ample asses and get to the gym. How's that working for you? Together. Just kidding. We love you, DP.
We do love you, Dr. Phil.
God, why me? Why me do I find these women? All right, both Lindsay and Dee are featured on their local Anytime Fitness Facebook page. The caption reads, "A milestone was accomplished today. Congrats to Candy and Lindsay for reaching their goal of running 30 minutes without stopping for the first time in years." Now, Candace and Lindsay have been training weekly with Chris Miller, and he's been adjusting their diets, working hard. So congrats again. Hard work pays off and shows off. So you go, girls. Congratulations.
Thank you for everything.
Bye, and thank you, Candy and Lindsay. I'm really proud of my new book, The 2020 Diet, Turn Your Weight Loss Vision into Reality. The 20 Keys to Help You Succeed Where Other Diets Fail. It's on the New York Times bestseller list since it came out in January. It hit #1 when it came out. I spent a decade doing research to give you a clear vision on a doable plan to finally lose weight. And to help you stay focused, I've also created the 2020 Diet app that lets you track your meals and exercise progress, and even gives you meal reminders in case you forget. And the app provides all kinds of recipes, breakfast, lunch, dinner snacks that you need to maintain the diet. And 2020 Diet can be found anywhere books are sold. And if you want to download your app, you can go to iTunes and Google Play. And everybody in the audience is going home with a copy of the book. Coming up, my next guest blames her wrinkles on more than just aging. We're going to find out why and get tips on turning back the clock. Closed captioning provided by...
Feel free. Free of dye, free of glue.
Ready to get real? Go to drphil.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episode, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. It's the one thing women fear most when it comes to aging, that feeling of looking in the mirror and seeing your mother staring back at you. You all tell me you don't want to look older than you feel, especially when it comes to those dreaded fine lines and wrinkles. Well, my next guest, Judy, blames the wrinkles on her forehead on Father Time and one other man, her husband. Of course we get blamed for it, but she says she wants the lines and not her loves to disappear. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Judy, and I'd like to introduce you to my family. This is my husband, this is my daughter, and this is my dog. And everyday life is giving me all these wrinkles. And I get in front of the mirror, and what I see in the mirror just doesn't really match the way that I feel. I'm actually 41, but on the inside, I still feel like I'm 30. I have all the normal aging issues so far, starting with the wrinkles on my forehead, the crow's feet, the under eye wrinkles, the laugh lines. Sometimes I even try not to smile too much because when I smile, it pushes everything up and it gives me even more wrinkles. My husband is 11 years younger than me, and I'm dreading the day when somebody looks at us and asks him if he's out with his mom. I'm ready to go to battle against wrinkles to make sure that day never comes.
All right, well, join me now is Judy. Thanks for being here, along with beauty expert Jamie Krell. So I appreciate you guys being here. You're blaming your husband, of course, but Jamie, what really does cause wrinkles? Because it has to do actually with fat, right?
It does. You know, wrinkles, it's an inevitable part of the aging process, unfortunately. And what happens is all of that good fat that's stored in the deep layers of our skin, we lose that fat as we age. Our skin becomes more thin, and so our lines and wrinkles become more prominent. Now, sadly, this is nothing we can control. This happens to everybody. But there are some factors that we can control, like squinting, sun exposure, and any facial expressions that we make.
Yeah, so are you guilty of those things? Do you, because like I'm on the computer and I'm getting blind. I'm telling you, seriously, we have to get our glasses, and we were in the drugstore the other day trying out Stronger and Stronger because I squint at the computer all the time. Do you do this?
Absolutely. I'm squinting at the computer when I'm concentrating, when I'm focusing. Smiling too much, as you saw in the video, it kind of pushes everything up. And,
smiling's good, though. I mean,
yeah, smiling's good.
Now, we've all heard the saying, you are what you eat, and that goes for your skin as well, right?
You know, it's true. So our skin is the largest organ of our body. So you have to treat it like every other organ. You have to give it proper nourishment and nutrition. I like to tell people to eat colorfully. So an example, leafy greens or blueberries packed with antioxidants, because not only is it healthy for your body, your skin is going to glow as a result as well. Now, of course, we know to drink water, but not just water alone. A great tip is first thing in the morning, warm water with lemon. It's an instant natural detoxifier that's also going to help your skin glow. And the last tip to help hydrate and moisturize your skin, sleep with a humidifier in your bedroom. This is something that helps prevent your skin from being dry and dehydrated, because when it is dry and dehydrated, your wrinkles appear more prominent.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of not drinking enough water and probably eating too much junk food. So.
The very last tip I want to end with is something that I really believe to be the most important, and that is to stick to a great skincare regimen every single morning and every single evening. But something that you can easily incorporate into your daily routine and nightly routine is a serum. My absolute favorite is from Boots No. 7. It's called the Protect and Perfect Intense Advanced Serum. Now, this is brand new. It just launched over in the UK recently. One of these serums is sold every 10 seconds. It is the fastest selling anti-aging serum because it's working, and it's working fast. So people are telling their friends about it, and it's become a cult favorite. Now, when you use this, you will see it's going to reduce the appearance of those lines and wrinkles in just 4 weeks. This also just earned the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval, which is a huge honor because they rigorously test so many different products. So when you see this seal, it shows that you can trust this product to work and work fast. Now, lucky for us, this product just launched here in the States, so we can get our hands on it, and you can get it right at Target. And my favorite part about this, it's less than $30.
Yeah?
It's good.
Well, what do you think?
I have never heard of that product before, but I would certainly love to try it, and I love it's so affordable.
Yeah.
Well, everybody in our audience is going to get to try it, too, because everybody's going to go home with your own Boots No. 7 serum. So thanks so much to beauty expert Jamie Krill. I also want to thank all of my guests today. Appreciate it. For more information on the show today, you can visit drphil.com. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much.
If you love 80s rock, you're going to love the Eagle at 90.